Hello, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be pulling back another layer behind the false constructs of reality TV. I feel like every time we do one of these videos, it's kind of like how in The Wizard of Oz when they get to Emerald City and they, meet the wizard, and then Toto pulls back the curtain and you're like, oh my god, the wizard is not a wizard. He is just a regular, degular, schmegular person. I feel like that's what we do on this channel a little bit, but with like some of the lies behind reality TV. So in today's installment of a series that doesn't really exist, we are going to be talking about homes, more specifically about celebrity homes and some of the tours that they give. We're also going to talk about some of the deceptions surrounding the celebrity homes that are pretty common in reality TV. So of course we are going to start with Cribs. You can't talk about celebrity homes without talking about Cribs. Cribs is one of the earliest reality shows that took the focus away from real people and gave viewers a glimpse into the extravagant lives of celebrities. In the vein of one of its predecessors, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, celebrities showed off their extravagant mansions and cars and other valuables. But as is normally the case with reality TV, not everything you see is the truth. MTV aired the first episode of Cribs back in 2000. Its initial run ended in 2010, but it was brought back to TV in 2021. Before that, it was featured on Snapchat as one of their shows. Cribs is a documentary-style show in which celebrities, athletes, and other famous personalities walk viewers through their luxurious homes. They emphasize the more ostentatious parts of the mansions, like home theaters and themed rooms. Typically, the celebrity shows off the entire property, including things like pools, basketball courts, and their car collection. Some who worked on Cribs in its earlier days have claimed the show was the blueprint for how celebrities interact with their fans now that social media exists. Cribs' most popular episode was a 2002 special episode in which Mariah Carey showed off her New York penthouse. Some of the standouts in the home were a mermaid room, a salon, a recording booth, and a home theater with a kitchen. Mariah also owns Marilyn Monroe's piano, but she didn't want to show it on camera. In typical Mariah fashion, she did an outfit change before showing off the bathroom, which was equipped with crystal chandeliers, a television, and lounge furniture. Celebrities like Da Brat, Pauly Shore, and Sharon Osbourne provided commentary during the special. Not all of the celebrities featured on Cribs actually lived in the homes they showed off. In her episode, the home JoJo showed off actually belongs to her uncle. At the time, JoJo didn't even have a home and was living in hotels with her mom while touring. She said about this, I should have balled hard and been like, welcome to my crib, look at how luxurious it is, and I should have rented out a place. But no, I just used my uncle's crib. So that was me lying on Cribs. It was pretty obvious that JoJo didn't really live there, and even more obvious, her uncle didn't even bother cleaning before his home was put on national television. JoJo wasn't the only celeb to borrow a family member's home for Cribs. Kim Kardashian appeared on the show in 2007, showing off her mom's home in Hidden Hills. It almost feels weird to see, as the 4-bedroom, 5-bath home is a far cry from how the Kardashians are living now. The home is the same one from the earliest seasons of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Kim took the audience through several rooms, and Khloe and Kourtney even made a cameo. While showing off the kitchen, Kim claimed that she was a talented baker and even had some freshly baked cookies on standby, aka the sugar cookies you see at every single classroom party. Kim's bedroom had the infamous stripper pole, as well as a shrine to herself and an overstuffed closet. She also showed off her pink and white Range Rover, mentioning the rims are from her rimline, once again proving there's no business the Kardashians won't try. At the time of her episode, Kim actually lived in Beverly Hills, not Hidden Hills where the house was. But it kind of makes sense she showed off Kris's house instead, since it was where they filmed Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which premiered just a couple months after Kim's appearance on Cribs. Some celebrities without relatives with a mansion on hand rented homes for Cribs or used homes they were already renting for the episode. Ja Rule ran into some trouble after his 2004 episode because he wasn't authorized to film inside of his rental home. On top of that, he threw a massive cookout and pool party that left the home trashed. As a result, he was sued by Jeanette Varela, the real owner of the Miami home. In his rental agreement, Ja Rule had agreed the home would be used privately, have no more than 8 guests, and host no parties. In reality, the home was broadcast on national television and served as the venue for a party with over 600 guests. Varela saw over $1 million in damages for the home. Destiny's Child and 3LW were both featured on episodes of Cribs as well. In both cases, the girl groups all filmed in one home, which implied they lived together when they really didn't. These homes were actually rentals. There were also times when celebrities rented other celebrities' homes. Dame Dash rented one of Mariah Carey's London properties for his episode. Robbie Williams used actress Jane Seymour's home for one of his episodes. He showed off his real home in a following episode and then admitted that the first home had been a rental. Even in cases where the home did belong to the celebrity, it didn't mean everything on the property was actually theirs. In his episode, 50 Cent showed off 3 Ferraris he claimed were his. But really, he'd rented them from a private collector and used them for the Cribs episode and for filming other music videos. Bow Wow did the same thing, as the cars he showed off actually belonged to a Miami rental service. Of course, there's likely pressure on celebrities to show off the most extravagant homes on Cribs, especially if they're already advertising an equally extravagant lifestyle. However, there were times when MTV encouraged celebrities to rent homes if the network wasn't impressed by the real one. For example, Redman said MTV producers encouraged him to rent a home for Cribs because they were underwhelmed by his actual house and because there wasn't time to clean it. In other cases, homes were just rented to make it easier for MTV's production team to stay on schedule. Cribs' newer iteration certainly isn't as popular as it was back in the day. One reason is because social media exists, so seeing celebrities show off their expensive things isn't new anymore. We have more access now than ever to celebrities. Another reason people probably aren't watching Cribs as much is because so many people are tired of watching celebrities flaunt their lifestyles. The majority of Cribs' first run was before the 2008 recession, and it seems like questionable timing to have brought the show back to TV right after the pandemic. But still, a pandemic, recession, and social media doesn't mean that suddenly no one's interested in how celebrities are living anymore. More so, it just meant the concept of the celebrity home tour required somewhat of a rebrand. While Cribs isn't as popular as it used to be, it seems like several celebrities are turning to Architectural Digest to show off their homes. Architectural Digest is an American monthly magazine that focuses primarily on interior design and landscaping. Celebrities feature their homes in web and print spreads, while others do video tours that AD uploads as part of their Open Door series. The Open Door series has existed for around 10 years now, but it's started to gain more traction in recent years. Several of these celebrity home tours have gone viral, including Kim and Kylie's and Demi Lovato's, in which she showed off her shroom room. With Architectural Digest, celebrities place a lot more emphasis on how they've chosen to furnish and decorate their homes rather than the material goods inside of them. It feels like an attempt to shift the focus from materialism and overconsumption to the artistic integrity of the home. The homeowners spend more time talking about the design philosophy of the house, with the occasional mention of a rare collector's item. In this way, it puts a more elevated, refined spin on the celebrity home tour. But still, it's just as much of a display of wealth and consumerism as the tours on Cribs. One of AD's most popular Open Door videos is Dakota Johnson's. Her home has an earthy, rustic vibe to it, and it's full of sentimental objects. People did genuinely love the interior of Dakota's home, especially her green kitchen. But what got most people talking was the multitude of limes on display in the kitchen. Dakota later said the limes were set dressing, and she had no idea they'd be in there. She pointed them out because she thought it was funny the decorators thought anyone would have that amount of limes. Ironically, she found out after the fact that she's actually allergic to limes. Dakota explained on The Tonight Show that it was normal for set decorators to come by and decorate the house a little more before it appears in Architectural Digest. I couldn't find any more confirmed examples of this, so now in the back of my mind, I'll always wonder what actually belongs to the celebrities versus what was added for Architectural Digest. When watching the Open Door videos, they don't feel all that much different from Cribs, but rather a more highbrow, elevated version. Several of the Open Door videos end in a similar style to Cribs, with the host kicking out the camera crew at the end. One difference, though, that might go unnoticed is how the celebrities talk about their homes and their belongings. In the AD Open Door videos, especially the more recent ones, there's this emphasis on the celebrity being relatable. Throughout the tour, there's a clear effort on their part to appear as if the objects in their home have a lot of sentimental value. And on the items that they splurged on, they act like they simply couldn't help it because they're so passionate about interior design. Multiple times in the span of a couple minutes, they'll mention how simple their lives and homes are, even while showing off a multi-million-dollar mansion furnished by a team of designers. Unlike Cribs, prices are rarely mentioned, and the celebrities seem a lot more humble about their homes. While watching the two, it's evident how much celebrity culture has changed, or at least the way celebrities try to interact with us. Even on their own reality shows, a lot of celebrities don't show their own homes in their entirety. This is often for privacy reasons or because some live in neighborhoods that don't allow camera crews. Then, of course, some reality stars do rent homes to film in just to seem richer than they are. Often exterior shots of celebrity homes aren't actually the homes they live in, which is done for security reasons. After being accused of filming in rented homes, Kim Kardashian confirmed her family uses exterior shots of other houses. She said about this, "When we film inside, that's obviously our real home. My old home in Beverly Hills was really my home, and I would get people showing up at all hours ringing my gate and had to call the police on several occasions. People hopping the gate and scaring me. It was so unsafe. The Hollywood Star Tours would stop by too because they recognized my home from our show." This of course begs the question, who actually owns the home the Kardashians use in their exterior shots? The home belongs to Danny Girardi, which he would rent out for up to $36,000 a day. The house has also appeared in American Horror Story, Chelsea Lately, True Blood, and a Victoria's Secret commercial. Girardi's home went up for sale in 2020 for nearly $8 million. Personally, I would be a little scared to live in a house that everyone thought belonged to the Kardashians. On some real estate shows, some of the properties shown as being for sale aren't really. Sometimes the owners rent the property out for filming, or the property is on the market but isn't being sold by the realtor on the show. A woman on TikTok noticed her home was shown on Selling Sunset as one of the homes that Christine was selling. The woman, named Sayo, claimed the show was misrepresenting facts, as Christine claimed the home belonged to a plastic surgeon in Europe. Sayo in reality is a clothing designer, and she wasn't in Europe at the time. Sayo also said that Christine was acting as if she couldn't get into the house when production and crew had access to it the entire time. She also claimed that Christine was not her real estate agent and that they'd never actually met. Her home was, however, listed with the Oppenheim Group, which Christine does work for. Jason Oppenheim, obviously the owner of the Oppenheim Group, chimed in and said it wasn't uncommon for homeowners to have not met everyone on his team who might handle the listing. Several of the Real Housewives have been accused of renting homes for filming so they could appear more affluent than they really were. After all, the appearance of a glamorous and intriguing lifestyle is what lands housewives their spots on the show. That and the drama they bring, of course. The housewives are aware they need to portray a specific lifestyle to be on the show, and they also don't want to look poorer than their peers. Dana from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was thought to be renting her home for the show because of how empty it looked. It was noted that her wine room was empty, and it looked as if the pool hadn't been tended to. It was speculated that she rented the home and set up a home tour as a way to get onto the show. Several of the Atlanta housewives have been accused of renting homes for the show and not being able to actually afford those homes. In 2008, NeNe was evicted from her expensive home in Duluth after accumulating $6,240 in unpaid rent. Allegedly, she and Greg admitted to the landlord that they couldn't afford the home and agreed to move. NeNe responded to these claims by saying, "It's none of your business." She said she and Greg are financially able and stable to live wherever we feel fit. She also said, "You don't know my relationship with Greg, so be careful what you report. If we rent, lease, purchase, or buy, money is still coming out of my pocket, so whose business is that?" This is ironic considering NeNe has insulted other housewives by saying their homes were rented. She's done it to both Kim and Eva. Probably one of the most infamous houses in the entire Real Housewives franchise is Chateau Sheree. The home was a conversation topic for years amongst the Atlanta housewives, primarily how long it would take to complete, whether Sheree was actually going to live there, and who really owned the home. Sheree announced she intended for the 10,000 square foot home to have a library, a ballroom, and skating rink. Redditors and bloggers looked into the public records and found the home was owned by Blue Management LLC. Sheree changed the ownership from her mother Thelma to herself, then to her daughter Tiara, and then finally to Blue Management LLC. Tamara Tattles, a popular Real Housewives blogger, claimed that Blue Management was actually Sheree's shell corporation. So, shell by Sheree, I guess. These several property transfers were allegedly done so that Sheree could avoid her creditors. In 2013, there were reports that Chateau Sheree had been foreclosed on, and the home was being sold for $340,000. Sheree had her attorneys urge bloggers to retract their reports on this and filed 3 temporary restraining orders against bloggers she claimed were trespassing onto her property. One of the bloggers was Tamara, who Sheree claimed snuck into Chateau Sheree, took pictures inside the home, and posted them online, making Sheree fear for her life. Tamara also seemed to be the one who broke the story about Sheree's home being foreclosed on in the first place. In 2015, it was reported Sheree was being sued by her contractors, Stop Loss Specialists Incorporated, for unpaid bills. Sheree owed them a little over $15,000, but they were seeking $23,000 after late fees and other charges. By 2018, Sheree was ready to open the doors to Chateau Sheree, showing off the home on Open House TV. To be honest, the house is beautiful, even if it's just a McMansion. The comments were overwhelmingly positive, but I have seen it said that the home is in a terrible location. Chateau Chere's biggest doubter, Kenya Moore, has actually had a few home issues of her own. She actually had a running bet with Chere to see who would move into their mansion first, which Kenya won. Kenya bought her 7,200 square foot home, which she called Moore Manor, and renovated it in about a year. Chere built her home from the ground up, and it took over 5 years to complete. In December of 2017, it was reported that Moore Manor was scheduled to be auctioned off after Kenya failed to pay her taxes. She owed a little bit more than $6,000 for the property, which she purchased for $515,000. The taxes were eventually covered, and Kenya was able to keep her home. Back in 2021, she did a house tour video in which she also showed off the revamped outdoor area, which included a pool and a deck. Kenya said she decided to build her pool after her split from husband Mark Daly, who hadn't wanted a pool in the home. This wasn't the first time Kenya was accused of not paying for her home. Back in 2013, Kenya was evicted from her mansion due to unpaid rent, utilities, and other fees. A judge ruled Kenya had to pay her landlord $2,520 for June rent, $4,387 for utilities, lawn, and pool maintenance, $800 for late fees, and $2,000 in eviction and attorney's fees. According to Kenya, the whole thing was ridiculous and her lease would be up regardless in a few weeks. When Kenya moved out, the landlord called the cops on her for filming it. The landlord, Kanya Dylan Weems, stated that Kenya wasn't supposed to be on the property, nor did she have permission to film. Weems told Radar, "She lied about renting the home and about her boyfriend amongst other things. She begged me to lease my home and live a pretend lifestyle she couldn't afford. She will get hers in the end, no doubt. I don't live a fake life." Kenya sued her former landlord over the security deposit, and she actually won. Weems was ordered to pay Kenya back the $6,000 deposit, as well as over $4,500 in attorney's fees. There are rentals, foreclosures, and evictions abound in the Real Housewives universe. And while it's never funny that people are getting evicted or foreclosed on, it is kind of funny that so many of the housewives love to call the others broke when their finances aren't in order either. And if anything, it's just a reminder not to compare your life to people on TV, because most of them don't even have it like that and they're just perpetrating. Of course, not all celebrities are lying about the homes that they live in, but this is just another reminder that reality TV very rarely shows reality as it actually is. I don't think celebrity home tours will ever really go away, since homes will probably always be a way that people indicate or sometimes lie about their wealth. And let's be honest, homes are just fun to look at sometimes, and it's really interesting to see how people can decorate with a relatively unlimited budget. And a lot of people who consume this content, especially the Architectural Digest stuff, do it so that they can take inspiration from celebrities' homes and kind of replicate that in their own homes, but usually on a smaller scale and in a way that's more affordable to them. I know when I was looking into the whole Lyme situation with Dakota Johnson, I saw on Reddit that a lot of people actually were inspired by her to paint their kitchens green or add more green into their kitchen. Which kind of reminds me of that scene in Devil Wears Prada where Miranda is telling Andy that she's not as, outside of the fashion world as she thinks she is, because her little cerulean sweater that she dug out of the bargain bin, thinking she was being original and different, was on the runway seasons prior. So everything does sort of trickle down in a way, and interior design and how people decorate their homes is really no different. So that is it for me today. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments. For example, if you were shocked to find out any of this stuff, or if you know of any other celebrity house drama that I didn't mention in this video, feel free to share it down below. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you can stick around for more. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter so that you can keep up with me there. And if you would like to become a channel member, you can click the link in the description of this video. See you all so very soon. Bye-bye.